This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, What the Attacks on Our Monuments Truly Means. The attacks on our national monuments have less to do with history and social consciousness and more to do with control over today's political climate. Allow me to explain. We hear of statues in the South pertaining to the Civil War being removed or defaced, particularly those depicting Generals Robert E. Lee and Jeb Stuart. As a youngster growing up in the North, I was taught of the evils of slavery and the costly war to end it. However, as I grew up and moved around for my profession, I learned of the culture of the South and the pride of its citizens. They knew they had lost the war and learned to live with it. For over 100 years, they honored their dead for their spirit. Now, suddenly, such symbols are under attack. Even this misplaced Yankee, who now resides in the South, is alarmed by the determined push to deface our history. Let me be clear. The Civil War, which regrettably led to thousands of deaths and destruction, ultimately defined who we are as a country. It should have been fought many years earlier, but we wouldn't have had a Declaration of Independence had we done so. In other words, the war was inevitable and costly to both sides. Aside from the Civil War monuments, we're also hearing of other national monuments being defaced, such as the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the World War II Memorial, and the Vietnam War Wall. I suspect the Jefferson Memorial or Stone Mountain Park in Atlanta will be next. Undoubtedly, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington will be safe, as it is considered politically correct. Here's the problem. Why are these monuments under attack today? Most have stood for several decades without any concern for their safety. Why not last year when Mr. Obama was still in office? It seems rather obvious the people calling for the removal or destruction of the monuments are the same people who hate President Trump. In other words, this is more of a protest to the president than it is about the social historical significance of some aging statues. Ever since the liberals lost the White House, they have felt free to vent their anger, which is widely reported by the press. If you will recall, a few years ago, the Taliban destroyed ancient Mideastern artifacts in order to change history and focus attention on themselves. The same is now true in America, where the left wants to erase American history and culture in order to put the spotlight on their social agenda. Their callous disrespect for our history is predictable, and we will likely see more guards in our Park Service protecting our treasures. In all likelihood, we will soon hear objections to former presidents appearing on our currency and coins. The national anthem is already under attack by NFL stars, but we'll see growing disrespect for it, not to mention other patriotic marches which will come under attack. I, for one, will certainly miss John Philip Sousa. Other established American institutions may also come under scrutiny, such as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, Arlington Cemetery, and any museum describing our past. The president has called for cooler heads in this conflict and has criticized neo-Nazis and the KKK. But this will not pacify the left, who will continue to resist Mr. Trump's actions and criticize his every word. I'm afraid the situation is only going to get worse before it gets better. To the leftist movement, this is all-out war and will stay contentious until the midterm elections next year. Should they lose more congressional seats, as I suspect they will due to their behavior, they may finally snap and violent anarchy will emerge. No, the attack on our monuments is not so much about our history as it is about the anti-Trump movement. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.